One of the biggest things that we're hearing from customers as well as the people visiting our demo site is just how easy it is to just start a call with one of our bots, right? Especially if you don't have like a technical background. So oftentimes it can be like daunting to use a new tool because you need to learn how to use it. But we made it so easy that you land on our webpage within the first 5 seconds, you hit start cold call and you're on call with the bot, right? Makes it so absolutely easy.
Welcome to Rep Matters, a podcast for sales professionals who are eager to build their business acumen and become top performers. In each episode, your hosts, Zoya Segelbacher and Caroline Jones, explore the real-life experiences, obstacles, and triumphs of salespeople. With an emphasis on authenticity and storytelling, listeners gain valuable insights into the strategies, mindsets, and skills that drive success in sales. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Rep Matters. I'm Caroline.
And I'm Zoya.
And this episode is brought to you by Marketers in Demand. Marketers in Demand has in-depth videos, podcasts, and articles from some of B2B's most in-demand marketers. Today, our guests are Atul and Sriharsha, the founders of Hyperbound. Hyperbound is a simulated role-play platform that turns your customer descriptions into interactive AI agents. Sriharsha and Atul are passionate about helping sales reps ramp quicker and have more effective conversations. They're Y Combinator Summer 2023 alumni, and using their Salesforce Einstein and conversational AI, they're making Hyperbound great for salespeople. And like us, they're also friends from high school. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys.
We're
happy to be
so
here.
excited to have you. Yeah.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We're stoked. So we something the audience might not know, I'll just kick it off because I'm really excited about it. Hyperbound and Uncapped are partners. So we're so excited to have you on the pod for many, many reasons. Aside from that, one of the reasons we're really excited to bring you on to Rep Matters today is because you're not just founders of a platform that is designed to help salespeople, but you are doing your own founder-led sales right now. So there's a whole lot of stuff that I cannot wait to dig into, using your own product, your journey through sales so far. But to kind of kick it off, let's just kind of start with how Hyperbound came to be and how you guys decided that this was going to be the business that you built together. I'll start with Atul.
Yeah. Okay. No, this is a great story, and something we're really proud of as well. So, like most startups, I should say, that go through YC, it's been a series of pivots. So we started off in the customer success space. We dipped our toes in developer tools. We were just all over the place, right? We did like hundreds and hundreds of customer interviews in so many spaces. In fact, our Notion is just filled with like graveyards of products. So, we really did our work exploring a bunch of spaces. We eventually really found like a warm community in the sales tech space. People were so willing to respond to our requests for customer interviews, right? We learned so much so quickly from that space. And we ended up releasing a product for email personalization, actually, while we were in YC. And that product did really well. It really helped people connect to their customers doing cold email outbound. And we were at a conference in New York, Sriharsha and I, pitching that email personalization product to people. And, we were at a roundtable discussion together. And we were just like, the roundtable discussion had finished. And we were just, bouncing some ideas off of each other and, with the group there. And we just brought up the idea of, using AI to simulate role plays to assist in training for those SDRs. And in fact, that was the main reason why people were using our email personalization product, by the way, because it was too hard to train their SDRs to do it. So yeah, like we just bounced this idea, and the way the room lit up, like it was incredible, right? Like everyone was like, "Can I try this right now? Do you have it on you?" And then like we said, like, "No, but well, let's put some time tomorrow. We'll have it for you then," right? So we went back to my apartment in New York. We just stayed up all night and we built it. Right. We built V0. We got on those meetings the next day and we showed it to them and they're like, yeah, like I want this for my org like Monday, like let's get started, right? So that was really like, where we got the inklings that, hey, there could be some product market fit to be found in this space. And yeah, we just went, all in from there. And we had a crazy LinkedIn launch in January. And here we are.
Why do you think this role play idea turned into a product overnight resonated so deeply with the people that you were interviewing?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that we learned through those, interviews and just talking to all these folks was that, all of last year, everyone just invested in all kinds of AI tools, hoping to automate away their SDRs, right? You have all these tools coming in and saying they're going to replace your SDRs, they're going to do all this prospecting for you and send all these emails for you. And I think at the end of the year, the conclusion across the board was that AI is not anywhere close to replacing your salespeople, right? So what's the next best thing you do after that, right? You just got to do a better job training your salespeople to be better. And I think that's where, when we released the product, a lot of people were just relieved to finally see an AI product that wasn't just about, replacing your salespeople or promising these huge things that were just not going to pan out. We were just being really realistic and telling them, like, hey, at the end of the day, you just got to do a better job of training. And we're giving you a solution that will actually be cost efficient and allow you to do that in an async way, like you never could do before. So yeah, I think it's like a dream product that everyone's been wanting for the longest time, and it's just never panned out. And here we are finally bringing it alive.
It's awesome. So you launched in January, and then very shortly after that, you went viral. So tell us a little bit about the strategy that you've used so far. Like you've had a really amazing launch. We'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, so I mean, it was so surreal the day we launched. We actually just made a LinkedIn post in like, I believe it's sometime mid-January, and it was just like a basic launch post that you'd see. And we just asked all our advisors and everyone we'd been talking to for the last, month and a half while we were building the product to go check it out. And within a couple hours, we were just racking up users on the platform. Right. And like actually a week later, we just saw people starting to organically post videos with our bots on LinkedIn. And I think that just started picking up more traction because as some influencers started to do that, their followers started to post more videos and their followers posted more videos. And it was just kind of this viral loop that just kept continuing. And the next thing you know, like one morning, I wake up and there is a video of our product on TikTok. Yeah, of all places. I don't even use TikTok myself that much, but someone just sent me a link to this TikTok video and they're like, "Hey, is this Hyperbound?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's us." And so I realized like one of this big sales influencers on TikTok found it and just decided to make a fun video. That went viral. Posted on Instagram, that also went viral. And yeah, it's just, I think people just finally just trying it out and thinking it's really cool and sharing it with everyone.
Yeah, people
It's
are having fun with it, and I hear they're getting kind of roasted by your bots sometimes. What's the theory with making them so mean, guys?
Oh, I love this question. So every AI, right? Every AI system that anyone has interacted with has just been programmed to be so nice and like soft and cuddly, right? Like it's because they're usually assistants, right? Even like the language models that we were using under the hood, like they were designed to be assistants, and we had to beat that out of them. We're like, no, you're a customer who is rude, who who doesn't have the time of day for this cold call, right? And the idea was to give people both an experience they had never had before, right? But also to give them something that, their managers weren't really capable of doing the same way that a simulation could. Like to be this nasty to your sales rep and to be serious about it, right? And keep a straight face while doing it is like impossible. But AI can do it just fine. And like people saw a lot of value in that early on.
Yeah, it's genius. I have a soft heart. When I was in enablement, sometimes I'd like tongue in cheek give a tough objection, but I never thought about how subjective I was as the trainer. This is a real opportunity for people to have an authentic experience with no feelings involved. Well, yeah, I'm sure in your enablement career, maybe you've played this part as well.
Yeah, no, I usually would like tell people, like I would say I'm going to be like a 7 out of 10 to like lessen it as well. Something else that I love is that you can do like reps with it, right? Like you
Mhm.
can, if you use the same script, you'll get the same or very similar results, right? So that's
Yep.
really cool that you can like perfect your script, right? Like you can run through the script and if something goes wrong, you can run it back and like have them be like the fidelity to the situation is so good. Whereas like when I would do role plays, I would try to do that, right? I'd be like, okay, here's feedback. Let's try it again. We're going to run it back. But of course, you don't remember exactly what you said. Caroline was saying like it just feels uncomfortable sometimes, right? To be like so mean or your reps get angry with you, right? Like they think that you're just being a jerk. There's like none of that. It's completely objective. And I love it. I think Jane is like the mean one that I experience. She hates me. And it's great.
They
And
are
like the
all
best part
very
is like
mean.
we're listening to some of these calls come in on those early days. And you can literally see people doing like repetitions on the same agent and get better over time, like in real time. Like you can see them over the course of 15 minutes, like get their pitch together, like learn how to address these objections, try out a couple different strategies for like how to do the call, and then figure it out. And you're like, wow, people learn so fast when you give them something to objectively practice on, as opposed to like if you just give them like a manual or like here's how to do a sales call, now go do it, which is what happens in a lot of enablement orgs. You just don't see the same results. So yeah, we're pretty happy that you found a fight.
Yeah, you guys are still a small team, right? You are still pretty close to the customer experience. Can you tell us a bit about the early feedback you've gotten from clients and users?
Yeah, 100%. So I think one of the biggest things that we're hearing from, customers as well as the people visiting our demo site is just how easy it is to just start a call with one of our bots, right? Especially if you don't have like a technical background. So oftentimes it can be like, daunting to use a new tool because you need to learn how to use it. But we made it so easy that you land on our webpage within the first 5 seconds, you hit start cold call and you're on call with the bot, right? Makes it so absolutely easy. And I think that's something we're hearing across the board from pretty much everyone that we talk to. And also, like, we actually had a recent instance where one of our customers texted us like first thing in the morning saying that he booked a demo with Nike, right? And it was all thanks to using Hyperbound. So, like, apparently a couple of minutes before this Nike demo call, he actually practiced a bunch with the bot on Hyperbound, and that's what led to it. So it was really cool to see that, just getting a text straight from one of our customers, and he was so happy also.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you all also use your own product, right? Like you are practicing on the bots and then you are going forward and booking meetings. So tell us about what you learned from using your own product or also from listening to calls that, that you're able to hear.
Absolutely. Like using our own product is so great for us because like our listeners who don't know this, right? Sriharsha and I are actually engineers. Like our background is very much not in the sales space, right? We know a lot of conversational AI stuff, which is, what led us into this particular niche. But yeah, so not salespeople by trade. So we needed to learn how to do sales ourselves. And of course, Y Combinator was a great help with that. And so was the sales community. But people can only give you advice, right? You need to go and like get the experience, like learned experience yourself. And yeah, Hyperbound has honestly been great for us for that, right? We're practicing discovery calls all the time on Hyperbound. We're practicing every day after our calls, we hear about new objections, new pain points. We go and we create a bot with that as a simulation. And, we get better at adapting those scenarios. Yeah, like we're very glad that, we have access to something like this. And, we know that if we find it so valuable, right, like it just helps us believe in the product more and sell it better. So we're very glad
And
that we
funny
have the
enough,
opportunity to
actually,
dog food.
yeah, and look, funny enough, like we started with cold calls only, right, when we first started. And quickly we realized that we don't do any cold calling. Like, most of our sales right now is just through inbound that we get. And so it was like, okay, I asked Otto, like, hey, like, can we actually build like a way to do discovery calls on Hyperbound because that would be very helpful, for us as well. And so that's how we decided to even start building the whole discovery call feature in the first place. And lo and behold, we had orgs asking us, "Hey, does this work for AEs as well?" And we're like, "Technically, it does. Yeah, because we use it for ourselves."
Yeah,
That's how
I
it
was
all
one of those
started.
people. I asked you all that recently.
Yep.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's how it started with the discovery calls.
Yeah. As Atul mentioned, the two of you have engineering backgrounds, and Sriharsha, you were a founding engineer at Bloom. I know
Mhm.
that sometimes when you're an early hire, you get insight into a lot of business operations that you wouldn't if you were hired onto a bigger engineering
Yeah.
team. So, how did that experience inform your ability to take control of the business for Hyperbound as CEO?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I think back to my Bloom days, and I think there's a lot of things that I learned on that job that I didn't realize when I was on the job. But now that I'm done with it and looking back and seeing how our founders operated there and how we made strategic decisions, how we decided what features to work on, like a lot of the stuff, looking back, it's really cool to see compare that to how we're doing things today. I think the biggest thing that I learned, and this applies to like any founder who's trying to do a startup, is essentially you got to build what your customers want, right? And what that means is you got to be in touch with your customers every single day, right? Like that means, when I was at Bloom, we were selling to teenagers, right? It was basically like a Robin Hood for teenagers. You can think of it that way. It's like for teenagers to invest in the stock market, learn how to do finance, like all that kind of stuff. And so we're selling to teenagers. And the problem is like there was a point of time where we just stopped talking to customers as much. And so there's just this lack of a feedback loop for a couple months where we were just building feature after feature with no real customer feedback loop. Right. So at Hyperbound, I've spent every second to avoid ever doing that or falling into that trap. Like we try the only features we build are the only features we get asked by our customers. I try not to let our judgment come into that too much.
I
So
love that.
interesting. Yeah. I was actually wondering, this might be a stretch, but a lot of early career salespeople are using Hyperbound today to
Mhm.
learn selling skills from scratch or brush up on their sales skills. Do you see any
Mhm.
connection between your audience for Hyperbound and the users at Bloom, young professionals, young adults?
Yeah, no, actually, now that you mention it, 100%, right? Like at Bloom, it was basically, teenagers straight out of high school, like about to enter college, want to start putting their money somewhere. And then now it's like people just straight out of college, starting their early careers in sales. So there's definitely a very similar dynamic there. And I think both products are, educational at the end of the day. They're trying to teach these entry level folks how to get started with either sales or finance, right? So there's definitely a match there. But I think, yeah, the way you go after these segments is very different for sure. Teenagers, like, they live on TikTok and Instagram, like that is like their world. I think post college, it's a little different. Like they are still on Instagram and TikTok to some regard, but those are not our primary channels, at least the way we target them right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
B2C versus
Yeah.
B2B. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
still showing people how to make money. If
A
people
hundred
could
percent.
just start investing young and get really good at sales, you're making millionaires regardless.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That was the messaging we used at Bloom as well. So
Oh, really?
yeah, that's on point. Yes.
Well, I mean, you mentioned that you're very connected to the end users and to the customers, and I can definitely attest to that. You are in the Uncapped community, and I see your like Slack green light on all of the time. Like, I feel like you two never sleep. And Caroline always says, I never sleep. So the fact that I'm on and you're always on is wild. What that tells me is that you're working overdrive. Like what are the things that are occupying your entire day and evening these days?
Oh,
I'll
so
let
many
Atul go
things, right?
first, and then I'll explain it. I'll explain my
Yeah,
side
yeah,
of yeah.
Also, the other thing I wanted to acknowledge is how many mediums we're communicating with our customers on, right? So we got text,
Mm,
we got email, we got LinkedIn, we got WhatsApp, we got Slack. I'm definitely missing one. There's one more that's missing. Oh, yeah, like our actual product itself, right? Like
right.
people are communicating to us through the product. So 6 mediums, that we're just keeping track of all the time. Like we just cleared our email inbox, then we cleared our Slack inbox. Like that alone, takes like 4 hours in a day. Right? Oh, and then also like
Yeah.
LinkedIn messages. But like I'm talking about like LinkedIn comments where you got to interact. So yeah. 7 things. So that we spend a lot of time there, but that also like it's so valuable to us, right? Because this is gold for us. Like these are the customer interactions we're designing our like strategy and like product around. So yeah, like very big on that. But yeah, the rest of the time in the day really gets spent doing one of two things, right? Demo calls or product building. So like I would say like what 50 to 60% of the day, every day, like by hours is simply just demo calls. And then the rest of it is like, in a 30-minute gap, we get here, we eat lunch, another 30-minute gap, like we're building this, like launching this feature, right? So very hectic all the time, wouldn't want it any other way.
Guys, be careful. I'm
Yeah.
going to start nagging you too about your sleep. I'm going to come for you. We need you. Make sure you rest.
You'll get a bedtime Slack message from Caroline.
No,
Mom's
100%.
coming. Sriharsha, what about you? What are your days like?
I think, yeah, for me, like I try to focus on some specific channels. So honestly, these days I'm letting Atul handle the email channel a lot more. And I've been owning more of the product channel for sure. Like, we get tons of inbound every day, right? Like we get like hundreds and hundreds of new demo signups every day. In fact, if you look at our HubSpot right now, our CRM, we have 3,000 unique accounts that have tried Hyperbound, which is just mind blowing. So like if I were to hire a salesperson right now, they'd have a party. They could go in and just start anywhere, So what I do actually right now is I track every day, like how many people are coming from different accounts, right? And the ones with the accounts with the most people signing up each day, I'll just connect with them right away on LinkedIn as soon as they try the product. I'll message them and then I'll get their phone number. We'll hop on a call. I'll build them a bot. By the way, this happens in the span of an hour of them using the product. So they try the product, LinkedIn connect, message, phone call. I talk to them on the phone for 10, 15 minutes, build them a bot, and then have them send it to the rest of their team. So we are like on the thing constantly. I literally have like on my phone, I get a notification every day, like constantly. So
Every time
that's like what my
anyone
day
does
entails.
any call on our platform, by the way. So there's roughly like 3 people finishing a call every minute on our platform. I think it might be a little higher than that. It might be like 4 or 5. So like
More than
our
that,
phones
yeah.
just like never stop buzzing, which is a problem because we miss other important things. And it's very good for keeping track of these customers.
Yeah.
Imagine just adding, Zoya, like, let's just put building a bot on our to-do list for the day. Like, what? That's wild.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing that you two are not salespeople. Like the fact that you grasp the power of like speed to lead, that somebody uses your product and you're immediately like, okay, let's set up a call. Let's get on top of building them what they need like within 24 hours is really like top notch sales right there.
I think it has to do with just ownership, right? It's like it feels like this product is our baby, right? We want to grow this thing as fast as possible. We want to make it successful as fast as possible. So it's like, we're going to take any step to get there, right? So we understand the importance of speed to lead. Like, I mean, obviously it's like not some crazy out of this world concept, right? So it's like just putting it into practice is difficult, but I really do value that and it works well.
Awesome.
I don't know when you would have time for this, but I'm just going to ask.
Yeah.
How do you think about professional development, each of you? Like, what does that look like for you now? What kind of skills or strategies are you using to stay on top of your own professional development?
The nice part is that it happens somewhat naturally. Like we are like Sai and I are very transparent about what we suck at every day, right? We're like, hey, like I feel like we didn't address, for example, like we don't have a defined sales playbook at the moment. And we've been noticing that, especially in some of our discovery calls, and especially with some of our like follow-up cadences between the discovery call and like, the decision maker meeting, right? Like we're dropping the ball occasionally at some points, right? We're very transparent about this between ourselves. So we're like, okay, how do we go and fix this? So we've got some ideas on how to solve this. We reached out to our network of amazing salespeople in the sales community about this. They've given us some ideas. And yeah, we just like sit and iterate. So like every day we find something wrong with, the way we're doing things. We like reach out for help. People help us, you know, we look for stuff, we synthesize that, and the next day is better. And it's just been going like that for like months on months. We've learned so many
Yeah.
skills, just one day at a time.
It also comes down to the relationship between
Yeah.
us. Like, because we're high school friends and we have that bond from day one, it's like nothing is past us, like when I'm unhappy with something or I see that Atul might not be doing something the right way, like I'll just call it out for what it is and he'll do the same thing with me. And, both of us just take it in a positive manner and just move on and try to fix that. It's the only way, like being transparent and improving together.
Yeah, how did you
Yes.
guys decide who would be CTO and who would be CEO?
Great question. You want to go for it, Atul?
We like decided that pretty immediately. So like my background is more in like I'm a machine learning engineer by trade specifically, right? And there's a lot of technical issues that need to be solved with this type of product. I'm like also like very familiar with the technical challenges here and excited by them. Yeah. Like Sriharsha can spend an entire day on meetings, like 7 a.m. to like 9 p.m. on meetings and not feel exhausted at the end of it, which I'm like, thank God you can do this because I absolutely cannot. So like that was really the decision making process there. But in all honesty, like we both spend our entire day doing sales. We also both spend our entire day building product. So the
Wow.
distinction is there, but pretty small at the moment.
That's awesome. So I heard you all are cooking up something pretty cool for March Madness. Can you tell us a little bit? I know it's like not launched yet, but is there anything you can tell us about what's going to happen in March?
So you want to take it away?
Yeah. So I won't reveal too much, but I will tell you that we have some pretty exciting stuff coming up. And basically, it is a challenge that we're releasing, and it will be fully powered by Hyperbound. We are also partnering with a couple other folks like the Segelbacher team, as well as Reach Desk and some other influencers as well. And we'll be hosting a competition on the Hyperbound platform. And it will be a cold calling competition. And you'll get more details on how it works. And we'll have like a public leaderboard. So it's going to be really fun. And we're basically challenging all of you guys out there to come out and give your best shot and see if you can beat others on the platform.
And there's some pretty nice prizes we've picked out as well. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Stay tuned.
Can't wait to see it. Yeah.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be a fun month in March. Yep.
Love
Awesome.
it. I have to ask, and Zoya, maybe you want to speak to this a little bit. Can someone talk a bit about the Uncapped Hyperbound partnership and what it means for Uncapped members?
So yeah, actually, you want
Should
to
I
take
speak
it away?
about that?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Twist my arm. Yeah, no, we're so excited to partner with you all. So everyone in the Uncapped community has full access to the entire Hyperbound platform right now. Really great. Like we have folks in there who can just role play whenever they want. They're trying it out with like mobile. Like that was like one of the more recent comments. People were like, who's tried the mobile? Who's tried it on desktop? And we also have a competition coming up. It's not March Madness. The prizes aren't going to be quite as sexy, maybe, but it depends what you think of. It's a job contest. So a lot of members who are in Uncapped are looking to take their sales to the next level. Some members are even looking to get into tech sales for the first time. So our contest is also powered by Hyperbound. And it's going to be folks doing their best cold calls We're going to put them up head to head, and then we are going to tag the heck out of hiring managers and just promote it all over LinkedIn to get folks who might not be on the radar yet on radars. People can see them live in action against the Hyperbound AI.
Sounds
That
awesome.
is
Yeah, we're
super
so excited
exciting.
for
That
that.
sounds
We're
really
all
awesome.
about using like our networks to help people break into tech sales. So like, yeah, we are so pumped.
Yeah.
I have one
Um,
more question for you guys, and
Go
then
for it.
Zoya, maybe we'll start rolling into our final questions. We didn't talk about your high school journey yet, so I'm curious if you could go back to high school and give
God.
yourself or each other advice, what would it be?
Wait, let's give context on why we love this question, because a lot of our listeners know this, but a lot of our listeners don't. We teased it out in the beginning, but Caroline and I know each other back from high school, and these two founders know each other back from high school. So this is why this is like such a fun
Let's
and
go.
like strange like connection that the four of us have on this call.
I love it. I love it. That's a hard question. So basically the question is what advice would we give each other if
Or
we were
yourself.
back in high school or ourselves?
Hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's a good
Take
one.
some thinking.
Honestly, if I had to answer that just off the cuff, right? I'm honestly like really happy with the way that I conducted myself throughout high school. Like, I think I did like a great job. It really set me up for like, being where I am right now. I just like remind myself to, take it easier a little bit as well. It's nice, like, getting everything done, like working through everything, like, being on top of stuff. But you gotta really remind yourself that like relaxation is also productivity, right? Like taking like those like useful breaks is actually like more productive in the long run for you. That's something you got to build like early on. So I wish I spent a little bit more time on that, but I think I figured it out like around now as well. So not too worried about it. Sai,
Yeah.
what do you got?
I can totally see that with Atul. He is quite the workaholic in high school, so not surprised at all there. I think, yeah, it's tough. I've been just thinking about it. I think for me, I spent a lot of time feeling like I had this chip on my shoulder all of high school. Like, I had all these ideas, I had all these things I was constantly working on. In fact, the first app that I ever launched was in high school. Like in freshman year of high school, I learned how to code by myself, launched an app, and like within a matter of 2 weeks, just word of mouth, I got like 25,000 users using my app daily, right? And that was like a crazy, crazy moment for me. But I think I was also not prepared for that moment too at the same time. Like, I got a lot of folks like ask me how I built it. And like I had like friends that tried to build like competitive products to me. And there's like, growing up in Cupertino, there's a sense of like competition always, in the air. And I, often like got too caught up in that, but I think what I realized over time is like everyone just kind of paves their own path. Right. And it took me a while to like, continue building stuff, build more confidence. But I think over time, I found myself in the process. And yeah, I'm really happy that we're building Hyperbound today. But I can tell you, we built 50 other things before that throughout high school. And I've changed a lot as a person since then. So very happy.
That's awesome. So yeah, we like to ask everyone this year the same question to conclude our episode. So the question is, 5 years from now, there's a headline. It's about you and what you've accomplished, your growth. What does that headline say?
It's a great question. For me, right, I can see this going like one of two ways. One is that, like we either like made a huge exit or, we ended up like buying another company in the space. And, it's like a really big moment for us in the company. Like I can see that happening. But the headline that I would rather, what is it called? Like, I don't know. I just want to manifest this.
Manifest.
Yes, exactly. But the headline that I would like to manifest is that like we did something that was just like so groundbreaking for the sales community that we're a part of, that like it's something that just organically like goes crazy, right? Like either, we launched like a program to, like help people, like for example, like if Hyperbound released a version of the product that was just free for everyone trying to get into sales, or if we like released, something that really helped people out in some meaningful way that people felt inclined to like share this on their own, like that would be like what I would want to manifest. I just don't know what that looks like because we think of how we can help people like every day, and it's completely different day to day. That's just how fast things are moving. I don't know what it would be.
So
Yeah, what do you got, Si?
yeah, I think we're having a conversation about this with one of our advisors recently, and I think the end goal for us is like we want to help facilitate just more effective conversations between humans, period. Right? Like forget about sales, forget about the vertical, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the goal of the company is to facilitate more effective conversations between human beings. Right? And so this is an amazing way to do that. And so what I want to be known for ultimately, like in the future, like, 5 years down the line is just, we help people be more confident and have more effective conversations in any context with their customers, with their leadership, with their employees, whatever it may be. So if we can be that company, I will be so happy 5 to 10 years from now. So yeah, I don't want to lock it down to just sales. I think that's like a starting point for us.
It's a
It's going to be
powerful
a slow
answer.
burn.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good slow burn for us, right? Like narrowing this down to like one event that generates a headline, I think there's a billion ways it could go, but yeah, like we're pretty set on the mission. So
Yeah, it's a tough
we're
question,
excited.
but that's why we ask
Yeah.
it. It's a stretch question for sure.
Yeah, I don't have like a creative like headline for you, but I can tell you like that's what we ultimately want to be known for. It's like that we change the way people communicate.
Yeah, I think that is a headline. So yeah, no, thanks for thinking about that. That's like one of the questions we don't like to give any kind of like hint about what it's going to be in advance.
Yeah. No, I love it. It's a great question.
Well, we know obviously Hyperbound, amazing product. We use it at Uncapped. It's going viral, and you two are extremely open to connecting with the sales community, to helping the sales community. We know to be on the lookout for the very exciting March Madness details coming out soon, so we can all be spectators and possibly even if you're Uncapped and in Uncapped and you want to nominate yourself, or if you're at Gong and you want to nominate yourself to get involved. Those sounds like really a lot of fun coming out in March. Is there anything else that you all want to plug or promote, or if you want to share like how people can find you? This is also a great time for that. We love to just set aside some time for you to share the plugs.
I'm going to take this time to share Si's personal phone number with the world. But no, in
Writing
all
it-
honesty,
Oh God,
you can.
it is
you can reach
public.
us.
You can go find it. Just saying. I would say it
the
on this
SDRs
podcast.
The SDRs will find you.
They will
Oh,
find
we
it.
already
I'm
have
probably
that,
out
yeah.
there on Zoom Info and Apollo and all those tools already. So
Honestly, by the way,
Yep.
one thing is that we actually love getting cold called. Like, in all honesty, like we seriously
Yeah.
love it. Please do cold call us. If you find like our like info on Apollo or Cognizant or something, like shoot us a cold call. In fact, like I was very seriously considering posting, like I made like a phone forwarding number for my phone number. I was like very seriously considering posting it on LinkedIn and just seeing who called. But yeah, like you can reach us like very quickly at founders@hyperbound.ai. You can DM either of us on LinkedIn. We love connecting. Yeah. Anything else, Si? Any other ways people should? Oh, you can book a demo on our site, hyperbound.ai. We love that
Yeah.
as well. Yep.
just go book a demo on our site. It's free to do so. So definitely come say hi that way. And yeah, I'll also say we have a lot of in-person events that we have planned, in the next couple months. So we'll definitely keep you in the loop for that. But we'd love to see some salespeople come out and celebrate with us. And we'll have like free food, free drinks, we'll have some fun. So that's a great way to meet us. And Dreamforce, Disaster, I don't know if they're, where they're going to happen, when they're going to happen, but when that does happen, we will 100% be there and everywhere. So come meet us there. Yeah.
It'll be
Awesome,
hard for you to
guys.
not find us is the goal. So, you're going to see us everywhere, right?
Just be warned, if you do cold call Atul, you're going to end up training the algorithm. So
You're going to end up
You're
training
going
the
right
guy
in.
who's building the algorithm, like
Yeah.
that's how it goes.
We're part of the future of Hyperbound.
Of course.
Good. Guys, thank you so
Fun.
much for an awesome conversation. We loved having you on Rep Matters.
Thank you so much,
We love
Caroline
being
and
here.
Zoya. Appreciate it. Happy to
Thank
be
you.
here.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Rep Matters, the podcast for sales professionals who become top performers. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow Rep Matters wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or access all episodes at marketersindemand.com/repmatters. See you next time.